Reasons why the New Zealand ACT Party are terrific for New Zealand. New Zealanders suffered terribly under the Ardern-Hipkins regime. Had the Labour Party stayed in power at the last election, the country would have been heading downhill towards a North Korean-style government. The reason so many decent, hard-working, highly qualified, skilled tradespeople along with their families are leaving the country in record-breaking numbers for Australia, and further afield, is simple. Consider some of the record-breaking left-bent garbage New Zealanders have had to endure for the past 6 years or so, plus a few other routine reasons intermingled. The grass is greener on the other side. Ardern's sole source of truth, transgender bender sexual perversion, rainbow identity genital mutilation, child grooming, early prisoner release, Hipkins blatant lying over vaccine choices, fake COVID lockdowns, ram raids and burglaries, shootings and murders, destructive and divisive race-based policies, blatant and deliberately misleading climate change and climate crisis claims, numerous alleged, and actual, criminal behavior by MPs. Can you blame people leaving? Please also watch and listen to David Seymour's full speech. The link is listed below and also in the description. Thank you David, Brooke, Karen, Nicole, and the ACT team. Geraint, on behalf of WhangareiTim.
The establishment can no longer ignore the simple idea that the Treaty of Waitangi gave all New Zealanders, tino rangatiratanga, the right to self-determine and live on our own terms. We stand proudly ensuring all New Zealanders are valued equally regardless of their race or the dates that they arrived here. The very foundation of our nation that you get shouted down for even discussing, unless of course you take the approved line from your treaty training. Act as consistently, fearlessly, and most importantly, constructively, put the debate about our founding document on the agenda. We've forced the issue from dismissal to real debate. We want healthy debate so we can find a way to be a united country. We all came to seek a better future at some point in our past. That is who we are, a nation of pioneers, and that is why a party that celebrates the pioneering spirit has been asked by you, the voters, to represent New Zealand, and that is why we are growing so rapidly. ACT is the party for people who believe that they have the responsibility and the right to make a difference in their own lives and the lives of those they care about. It was ACT who stood up firmly for the farmers, which under the prior government were demonised. It would be easy to believe farmers were some sort of terrorist group hell-bent on destroying their own property if you listen to the last government.
Kiwi farmers are the best and most efficient in the world. They get up at the crack of dawn to feed 40 million people around the world. Finally, they've got a government that's listening to them and backing them to succeed. After 6 years, Labour and the Greens' war on farming is over.
Finally, we've got a government that's listening to rural communities.
Waking with the sun.
To turn the light of day into food. Farmers are the true people of the land.
For 6 years, Wellington bureaucrats stifled rural communities' ability to put food on our own tables.
With ACT in government, the war on farmers is over.
Kiwi farmers are the most efficient in the world, so they should be empowered to thrive.
Farmers are true conservationists. Of course they care for the land that provides for them.
When rural enterprise is free to flourish, all of us are better off.
And to New Zealand's farmers and everyone who works the land, ACT has a simple message.
We hear you and we back you all the way.
And we understand that the first, most fundamental job of the government is to protect your rights, to keep you safe from those who would do you harm. Under Labour and the Greens, there was plenty of focus on the rights of criminals. I say, if the criminals want the same rights as everyone else, then perhaps they can start upholding their obligations just like everyone else. So in government, ACT is rebalancing the scales of justice away from the excuses of criminals and back towards your rights as citizens. We've abolished Labour's prisoner reduction target because a self-imposed limit on our capacity to lock up people who would do you harm is just madness. Yeah. We're bringing back 3 strikes for serious, violent sexual offenders, and this time it's here to stay. Last year, New Zealand experienced nearly half its yearly average gun deaths in a period of just 17 days. The latest New Zealand Crime and Victims Survey shows that Māori, more than any other ethnicity, make up a large number of victims of crime. We make up 37% of the victims, and the figure is even higher for Māori women. I believe that the rights of those victims matter, and that's what I'm fighting for. So Te Pāti Māori dare not tell me that any of ACT's mission is anti-Māori. Not once have I heard Te Pāti Māori stand up for Māori victims of crime, actually for any victims of crime. Not once. Te Pāti Māori campaigned on abolishing prisons. Your protectors in Labour and the Greens have been turfed out of government. Now the ACT has its hands on the levers of justice, we will not use a light touch when it comes to protecting the rights of peaceful, productive New Zealanders. The joyride, it's over.
Many of you will know that I came to Parliament with a promise to put the safety and the well-being of the child at the centre of the state care system. Not the treaty, not whakapapa, not politics, just the best interests of the children. No child should be taken out of a loving foster home because their carers are the wrong race. And no child should be placed back in an unsafe environment because they're the right race. But that's what we've seen under Labour's reforms of Oranga Tamariki, and with Section 7AA being used as a justification for these decisions. I've watched the footage of a reverse uplift where 4 young siblings were taken, crying and traumatised, from a forever home after 3 years because Oranga Tamariki disapproved of the foster parents' British culture. A few weeks ago, my legislation to repeal Section 7AA of the Oranga Tamariki Act passed its first reading in Parliament. For Labour and the Greens and Te Pāti Māori to even imply that I cannot think for myself because I don't follow their beliefs is an utter disgrace. It brings shame to our Parliament and it makes a mockery of every New Zealander who voted for change.
The ACT Party's pretty much in favour of hard work and reward. That's why we think you should pay less tax and keep more of what you make. We've still got a coalition government that ACT's a massive part of reducing red tape, reducing taxes, reducing discrimination by race in the law, doing all those things for people that actually want to make change in the world and make this country a better place where everyone can determine their own success and succeed and flourish in their way. What's critical is that the principles that the current law states are defined to reflect the articles, and that's why ACT has taken the step of bringing the Treaty Principles Act in. There is a proper way for a government to send messages to the judges, and actually we're doing it. ACT campaigned on toughening up the Sentencing Act, sending the message to judges the proper way through the law and the Sentencing Act that if you're a member of a gang you go away longer. If you attack someone who's working sole charge or next to their house, i.e. a dairy or a bus, then guess what? You go away longer. And then we're building the prison capacity so the judges have got somewhere to send those people.
And I find it offensive and quite frankly racist that anyone would put one aspect of their identity on a pedestal above all the rest. That would be the result of a twisted interpretation of the treaty that divides New Zealanders into two groups: tangata whenua, who are here by right, and tangata reti, who are lucky to be here apparently. The so-called treaty's principles are not written down or defined in any one place. They have emerged in the last few decades, one court decision at a time, from unelected judiciary. These principles, which New Zealanders were never consulted on, are the foundation of the countless policies that seek to divide you from your friends and neighbours. Race-based university admissions, race-based procurement policies, compulsory tikanga courses for real estate agents, a Waitangi tribunal that thinks it has the power to summons a minister that you elected into government. It all comes back to the treaty principles, and that's why ACT is advancing a treaty principles bill, to finally define the principles through a democratic process based on what was actually written and signed in 1840. The promise of the same rights and duties for all, the same respect and dignity for all.
If you want the right people to stop leaving New Zealand and start heading back home again, then the process is simple. 1. Get rid of the Mad Hatter crazy Green Party. 2. Get rid of the lazy racist and corrupt Tea Party Maori Party. 3. Abolish racist council wards. 4. Abolish racist electoral seats. 5. Dissolve the Waitangi Tribunal. 6. Define the treaty principles into law. 7. Abandon all race-based policies. 8. Defund woke left-bent bribed and corrupt mainstream media. All it takes is a genuine political desire for change, and a genuine political desire to make New Zealand great again. Words are easy, but action takes guts. Thank you for listening. Geraint, on behalf of WhangareiTim.